One of the parts of growing up is to getting your finances right. It's about taking control of your own money, of your own financial situations, and making the right and responsible decisions for your life. Of course, this is easier said than done. Some of us have the benefit, have the luxury of coming from maybe parents who taught us some of these important principles. Others don't, and those need to learn these things by themselves over their 20s and their 30s. In this video, I wanted to share some of the key principles, some of the key thoughts and considerations that I personally picked up during the course of my 20s and that for me at least did a significant difference in my life and for my personal financial situation. One thing I want to say in the beginning is that these things, these ideas that I will now present were not invented by me. So these are things that I picked up over time by reading books, also watching other YouTube videos. This is just the best of these ideas that I really made stick for myself, and I hope that this will be helpful for you as well. So now without further ado, let's get into it. So welcome to another coffee break here on my channel Firm Learning. My name is Heinrich, and as you know, on my channel I want to help you to become successful in the first years of your career. And for sure, getting your money right is a key part of that. So this is what we're going to talk about today, and specifically I will share 5 key lessons that I picked up over time where I hope that these will be helpful for you as well. The first principle that I think is very crucial is the principle of paying yourself first. Because what do most people do wrong? When most people get their paycheck, there's already lots of taxes deducted from the paycheck, and then people spend the money during the course of the month, and then they think to themselves, well, maybe at the end of the month, if something is left, I will save it, I will invest it, I will take it aside. And then of course, no surprise, at the end of the month, there often isn't much money left, and then no or only very little money is getting saved. And the idea of paying yourself first is the following. So if you make a gross salary of 100%, you're often in many countries, depending of course on the exact income that you make and based on a tax system, easily 40% of that salary will be deducted by the state. You will need to pay in taxes and so on and so forth. And clearly this will be deducted from your paycheck in the very beginning. So this doesn't depend on how much money you have left or whatever. This is what will go out of your paycheck from the very start. And then the logic is, well, if the IRS, if the financial authorities are taking this money away from you, shouldn't you then make sure that you pay yourself that very same amount of money as well? Shouldn't you make sure that then roughly 40% of your gross salary is taken aside, is saved, is invested as well? This at least makes a lot of sense to me. And if you assume that 40% of your gross salary is taxes, then 60% are your net salary. This would then mean that 1/3 of your net salary is really only what you have available for living, which would correspond to a savings rate of about 66%. This is of course quite significant, and I once made a video that I will link somewhere above here where I talked about having a savings rate of 50%. And of course it's also clear that the more you earn, the more privileged you are with your salary, the easier it will be for you to save a substantial portion of that. But at least as an aspiration, as a goal that you aspire towards, having that in mind that you should probably pay yourself, invest at least as much money as the state takes away from you. Related to that is the idea of not waiting until the end of the month until you take the money aside and then put it in your savings account and into your investments. But instead make sure that you take out this money directly after your salary hits your bank account. And you can do this in different ways, for instance with a regular savings plan that automatically then deducts the money and puts it into the savings account, or with an automated stock investment plan where you can do all that. But don't make it dependent on your discipline, but rather make sure that you invest it and then figure out how to live on the rest. At least assuming that you're privileged enough that this is somehow possible for you. The second idea that I want to share with you that I found insanely valuable is the idea of never touch principal. So this is coming from finance, where you distinguish between the principal, so the capital invested, for instance, the capital invested into a bond, and then the interest that this capital pays. And the key idea is that over time you will build your capital, you will build your principal if you follow especially also advice number 1. Every month you will put money aside, invest it for instance into the stock market. This is the principle that you will accrue over time and the principle that for you will grow over time. And the key point here is that you should make sure that you organize your life in a way that you should really make it a rule. that you do not take money out of that. Never ever take money out of this principal account where you collect money, where your capital is building. Instead, you should aspire to the situation that maybe at some point in the future you live just by the interest. So if your stocks pay dividend, if your investments pay any other type of interest, yes, this is the money that will be available to you. This is the money that potentially at some point you might also be able to spend. Though I would encourage you to, especially in the beginning, rather reinvest it. But at some point, if you really make this a habit of yours, of saving the money, of investing the money, if you're lucky enough, if this plays out well, at some point in your life, you will be in a situation where maybe all of your regular expenses, all of your daily expenses, you will be able just to pay out of the interest of the capital that you have invested. This is also a variation of this idea of passive income, right? That you create income which does not need to be earned anymore, that you're not dependent anymore on your labor income, but that you just can earn income out of your principal. The third point I want to share with you today is that you should really absolutely track your net worth. There's one famous saying in consulting, and probably not only consulting, but rather general management wisdom, which is you cannot manage what you do not measure. So if you do not measure your net worth on a regular basis, chances are high that you will really struggle to manage that in the way that it will grow, to make sure that your principal is growing over time. And here I also made a video in the past where I talked about how you can really track this net worth, what the net worth actually is, how it is defined, and I even shared with you a basic Excel spreadsheet where you really can do all this. I will link it somewhere above here. It's really the same tool, the same Excel spreadsheet that I use myself. So I hope that this is indeed helpful to you. And as you can just check out this video, I will not repeat myself, but I just really want to emphasize. So from my perspective, this is just crucial for you accumulating wealth over time. My insight number 4 is that you just cannot start too early. And this is probably a mistake that also I myself did, because in my early 20s, what I thought was, now I still don't earn that much money. I was still at university at that time. Why should I now really restrict my lifestyle if I don't have that much money anyway? What is really the value of saving 100 or 200 euro every month if this really restricts my lifestyle in a significant way? And then probably later down the road, it will be much easier for me to save much more significant amounts of money if I'm then fully arrived into the job market and then hopefully earn some decent salaries. This is what I was thinking at the time, and I believe that this is what many people are thinking. But what these people, and also I myself, severely underestimated at that point in time is the power of compound interest. There are a lot of crazy, really super counterintuitive, mind-blowing calculation examples if you do some research on this topic of compound interest. But the bottom line is that it makes a significant difference whether you start investing in your 20s compared to starting investing in your 30s, even though you just might start with rather small amounts of sums in your 20s. You will very likely significantly underestimate the additional amount of money that you will need to save in your 30s if you want to compensate the money that you did not save in your 20s, even though these amounts might have been only small amounts. Again, these calculation examples are really eye-opening. I included one of them in this video where I talked about the 50% savings rate. I very much encourage you to check this out if you haven't seen it yet. My big recommendation to you really is start investing as early as possible, maybe already in your high school, just to get used of it, for sure in university. Even if it's only 100 euro every month, it will really make a significant difference over the long term if you do this in a good and consistent way. Last but not least, my insight number 5, and this is do things beyond your 9-to-5 job. And this tip is especially important for people maybe not working in these super accelerated career tracks where you have almost no time of doing anything else besides your job. But the truth is that most people live or work in a job that goes from 9 to 5, as it says, right? So usually at 5 p.m. or at 6 p.m. you come home and then you have the free evening until the next day you move back into your job. And of course it's great to spend time with your family. Of course it's also great to watch TV, to maybe watch Netflix. And here for sure it is up to every single one to prioritize your time and make these decisions for you. But especially if you find yourself sitting in front of the TV or sitting in front of the computer every single evening, not really doing the things that will do the difference for you in the long term, I would challenge yourself whether you wouldn't find the time to rather work on some side projects, to work on a couple of ideas which then maybe in the long term might create some additional income for yourself on top of your daily 9-to-5 job. Because one thing is for sure, while it might feel great to watch Netflix in the evening, and I'm for sure guilty of that regularly as well, you could have invested that time in some productive activities that really pay you in the long term in the evening. And for sure, I truly believe that a significant portion of where you will be in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, will be determined how you spend this additional time in the evening. Spending this time in a productive way can make the difference in your life, can really have a huge impact on your life, on your career, that is probably not even possible to overestimate. So now I would love to hear from you. Does this resonate? Does this make sense? What are your tips? What are your insights that you collected over the course of your life, which maybe you would love to share back to the Firm Learning community? I would love to read some of your comments as well, and probably also read a couple of things from you. So please just write a comment in the comment section about that. As always, if you took any value out of this video at all, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and also subscribe to this channel to stay up to date on all my content. I'm releasing new videos every single Saturday. If you want to see even more from me, also follow me on my Instagram, and also recently started to become more active on TikTok. Links to these channels are included below in the video description. And I want to end by saying a big thank you to all the members of Firm Learning. Thank you so much for your support. This is Heini from Firm Learning. Good weekend to all of you, and bye bye.